Hello and welcome to Before I Do. My name is Charmaine Jennings.
My name is Walter Jennings.
And this, Before I Do, is a show for those of you who may be dating, you may be engaged, you may be thinking about getting married, or you may just be on pause right now and not ready to get married. But this is a show intended to really support how to facilitate courageous conversations about relationships and relevant dating information.
Now, this is intended to be an interactive experience, so we do encourage you to respond and put your comments in the chat. Feel free to share your thoughts, comments, and questions regarding the theme anytime during our conversation and time this evening. How you doing, Miss Charmaine?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? You're looking good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I have really been enjoying this When Love Languages Turn Toxic series. So for those of you who just may be joining us and turning in, we have been discussing the 5 love languages and what happens when love languages turn toxic. When we are aware of our partner's love language, but use them in a way to manipulate and try to control. Whether you are the receiver or the giver. There are, yes, absolutely. There can be some misgivings and some misreceivings when it comes to our love languages. And so we have been covering them over the past few weeks. And tonight we have arrived on one that is very near and dear.
It is. So we are talking tonight. We're excited. We're talking about quality time. And you better throw the ball on over here because I have to take it all the way back. Shamefully, I probably don't know all the lyrics, but I'm going to sing it. Yes. So my 90s people, is it the 90s?
It is the 90s.
It's the 90s. All right. And if you know the artist to this song, come on. They don't make that many, songs about quality time. So this one for me, it came up immediately and it was quality time with you. I don't remember the rest.
That's the problem we have. See, I said I'm gonna let her get out here and see if she gonna remember the lyrics. See, that's the problem. You got to know the lyrics to the song. Quality time with you. Yes, I want to spend time, quality time with you. That is literally.
I remember the part where it says, "I will be right there for you." If my beeper rings, and you know how long this was,
really
we're talking about beepers. Wow. I know young people, y'all may not know what a beeper is, but you're welcome that you didn't have to deal with beepers. Okay. He did mention the cell phone in the lyrics as well, but it's just saying, I will be right there for you. So quality time, that's what we're talking about, everyone. It is one of the 5 love languages, really researched thoroughly by Dr. Gary Chapman in his book, The 5 Love Languages, Secrets to Love That Last. And so, yes, tonight we're talking about pretty much quality time and what that looks, feels, and sounds like. So.
Absolutely. So quality time revolves around the idea of togetherness, and togetherness is defined as the state of being close to another person. Some of the synonyms for it are fellowship, closeness, and wait for it, intimacy.
Intimacy, as Hassani, our CEO, loves to say, Hassani and Danielle. Intimacy equals intimacy.
So quality time is all about expressing your love and affection and giving your partner your undivided attention. When you're with your partner, you put down your cell phone, you turn off the tablet, and you focus on them.
Say that again.
Yes. When you're with your partner, you put down your cell phone, you turn off your tablet or your TV, and you are completely focused on them. And so Charmaine, quality time is her second. Acts of service is her first, which we talked about previously. And so I am guilty of this, but we are going to get into how her as the receiver, how it can become toxic for me as her spouse when it comes to quality time. But I have been guilty of being distracted and not giving her my undivided attention. So quality time is all about how you spend time together. And when we say how, we are not just talking about the activity. We are talking about the quality and the atmosphere and those things that are surrounding your interactions when we talk about quality time.
All right. And so, the key components again were attention, connection, and understanding.
Absolutely. So we're talking about shared activities, shared conversations, shared emotions is a really good kind of catchphrase for quantify quality time.
All right. And so we're going to go to our first question. We want to hear from you. First of all, is quality time your love language? Do you feel most loved when people give you their time, and I don't even want to say give, like gift, because it is a gift, right? For someone to give you their time and their attention. So our speak now or forever hold your peace first question is, over the past 20 years, the number one preferred love language has shifted from words of affirmation. It used to be words, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Words. But now it is quality time. Everybody wants their time and attention. So what factors do you think have contributed to this change? Why do more people want quality time over words?
Well, what are some of your thoughts about why do you think it's shifted over time as far as to why do you think quality time has become number one?
Well, there's a great quote that runs in the Jennings family, that says you can make your mouth say anything. Okay? Yes, you can make your mouth say anything. You can say, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. But you know what? It is the sweat equity of you cashing in those words. First of all, don't talk about it, be about it. These are just some colloquialisms, right, that we use. And so, yeah, for me, it's that quality time shows that I have made you a priority. First of all, time is money, right? And so we know we pretty much, we're not going to waste money. So the time that we give a person, it really, there's currency attached to it. So you spending time with me shows me that you value me, I'm important, you hear me, and you're present with me in this very moment. Very powerful.
So I want to come from a little different perspective. Not that I disagree, but I also do want to push back on something. I wouldn't say that time is money. I'm actually reading a book right now by MJ DeMarco called Millionaire Fastlane.
Okay.
Time isn't money. Time is life.
Okay.
Time isn't money. Time is life. Because you can absolutely utilize your time to gain money, but you can also utilize your time for other things. So life is constantly happening and revolves around time. So the question becomes, what are you doing with your time? You can use it to get money, but just because you're not using time to get money doesn't mean you're wasting your time. So the second thing is, I believe that quality time has gone up to number one as it relates to love languages, because we are really in a very strong, definitive technological and digital age where it's so easy to be distracted. You have the World Wide Web, you've got all of the social media, you've got YouTube and all of these. Well, you're on YouTube probably watching now. You're actually on a channel watching this now. But our attention and our time has become at even more of a premium because we have all of these distractions. We have all of these things that are jockeying for our potential attention, not just people, but TV, computers, phones, iPads, all of this technology that is taking away our time from being able to genuinely interact with each other. And those things in and of themselves are not inherently bad, but it does become a challenge for us being able to interact with one another. So I think that quality time has moved to number one because it has become a challenge for us to really set those things aside and to really focus on interacting when it comes to people in person. And even when we do decide to do that, it can be a really challenge for us to focus.
And you're right. I mean, that's, quality. That's the key, right? That's the key. We do get together, but what is the measure of quality that we will put on us engaging each other? And so, yeah, the digital age has really challenged us to be more intentional.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. So we are going to take a really quick commercial break before we go into these toxic, when quality time turns toxic. And so you all keep tuned, and we are going to come back with more before I do.
welcome back to Before I Do. My name is Charmaine Jennings.
My name is Walter Jennings. We're your Couples Academy practitioners, and tonight we are talking about when love languages turn toxic with the focus on quality time.
And before our commercial break, we posed our Speaking Now Forever Hold Your Peace question, which was, over the past 20 years, the number one preferred love language has shifted from words of affirmation to quality time. What factors do you think have contributed to this change?
So you all have heard from us, Flo. So we want to hear from you. What are some of the factors that you think have contributed to the change and the shifting to quality time? Do you agree with the fact that quality time should be number one? What do you think should be the number one preferred love language, and why? And what has been your experience with quality time? So we talked a little bit about when love languages turn toxic. So we want to now talk about and focus on from the receiver standpoint. And as I mentioned,
can quality time ever turn toxic?
Absolutely. Quality time can definitely turn toxic. I can show you better than I can tell you.
All right, so we're gonna pull up pretty much. Come on, get your notepad out. It's time to listen, because we're gonna let you know how quality time can become toxic, because you don't want to make sure you are stepping into any of these areas.
And it's important to mention as well that for a lot of these, it's not intentional. Mm-hmm. And so with a lot of the other love languages turning toxic, it can be the person usually is aware of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But with quality time, for some of the ways that it can turn toxic, most of the time the person doesn't even realize that they're doing it. So it's not necessarily intentional, but that doesn't make it any less toxic. And so it is something that we want to make sure that you are aware of. So number one, one of the ways that quality time can turn toxic is when the receiver is demanding quantity in quality time, meaning that the frequency of that quality time, monopolizing your partner's time and attention, not being able to balance individual and collective interests, turning every conversation into now it's a group conversation, and just monopolizing that person's time, whether again you mean to do so or not. So now that quality time that may need to be set aside 3 or 4 times a week is now an everyday thing. And unfortunately, you can't always devote an hour or 2 hours to just sitting down and having certain life altering, deep philosophical conversations. You have to set aside time for those things. And so when we begin to put demands on the quantity of the quality time, then that becomes a hindrance, and it becomes toxic to the individual that is in a relationship with an individual whose love language is quality time.
Okay. All right. That was a lot. You know, I'm having to take some, inventory over here, right? And so the next one, this one right here, y'all. Come on now. Somebody, I'm going to have to say amen lights in advance on this one. Number 2, it says utilizing quality time to address, I'm going to lean in, to address issues or problems in your relationship. Ouch. Okay. Yeah. So it turns out that, yes, I just want to spend time with you. Like I miss you all day. And then, when that moment comes, y'all all cozy. We're about to watch this movie. Next thing you know, the trailer playing, that remote control get to pausing. Why don't you... The man in the movie, the credits haven't even played for 5 seconds, right? And next thing you know, it's like, you used to buy me, Prada. You used to do these things for me, and why don't you do these things for me? And next thing you know, what should have been a 2-hour movie of y'all relaxing and loving and just spending time with each other becomes, a whole segment of, these are the problems in our relationship, and I expect them to be fixed now. Ouch. Yeah. So quality time to address problems and issues in a relationship, that is when it becomes toxic as the receiver. You want to make sure that you're enjoying one thing, but then you turn it into something else. And so while that may work for some couples, Dr. Randy Schroeder, PhD, says that it is a major mood killer. So you want to make sure, is that going to really motivate the giver of their quality time to spend time with you if it always turns into like a scary movie,
Mm.
So we want to be mindful of that.
Absolutely. All right. And number 3 is focusing on the where rather than the what. So that means that in regard to the quality time, you're so caught up in going to a 5-star restaurant, or or having to spend a lot of money on the atmosphere portion of the quality time, that you're not really focused on exactly how you and your partner are interacting, when it could be something as simple as going to the beach, or a car ride, or going to get some ice cream, or having a cup of coffee at a diner, or something small. But small actions make a big difference.
That's right.
And so it's really important to focus on the what rather than the where, because it can put the giver in a situation where they can become really hesitant to suggesting and planning quality time if they don't have the proper finances. If I don't have $200, $300, $400, $500 to drop, does that mean that quality time is off the table because I don't have the money to take you where you really want to go? As it relates to some of the places, is it can we have date night at home? Can we have a Netflix and chill? And when I say chill, I mean chill for real. But the point is that it shouldn't be so, quality time shouldn't be so predicated and set upon the where that it hinders and becomes a detriment to what you all are actually doing.
And let me tell you, sometimes I know that this is when, love language intermingle. Like, man, if you are one of those people that, you're very picky about the restaurant, and very picky about the environment, the mood, you're completely sensory sensitive, and you just know that you have these needs, then you definitely better be the biggest contributor to designing and creating and drafting date night.
Absolutely.
Because putting that in your partner's hand, anything that's going to frustrate your partner as the giver, man, like, you're working against yourself. You'll find yourself by yourself and wondering why it is a job literally for your partner to be able to spend time with you, because it becomes something that's not pleasant for them.
Absolutely. So really important that as the receiver, that you allow yourself to, as with most of these love languages, be patient and be able to appreciate the effort that your partner is making towards spending quality time. And even too, when we talked about number 1, as far as with not turning every opportunity into, okay, this is quality time. So there'll be certain times where I'll come in and I'm on my phone because I'm responding to messages, I'm sending emails. And so I'm not trying to be rude, but I really have to make sure that I get this message out, because once my attention is gone, then it's gone. And now I'm not fulfilling an obligation because my time is being pulled on. And so it's important to be patient with one another. And that's why it's important too for the quality time to be scheduled. It's important for you to put it on the calendar, put it on the books, so that way it can be undivided time that your partner is receiving and attention that they are getting from you in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so now you're going to go to our next Speak Now, Forever Hold Your Peace question.
I think we should.
All right. So we want to hear from you.
Yes.
Definitely. What is your favorite love language? And if quality time is it, like, what are some of your best things to do in spending your time? All right, and that takes us right into our next question. What is your favorite quality time activity or location?
Absolutely. What about you?
So you can set your partner up for success, and for me, I'm just going to tell the truth. I am a water person, right?
Yeah.
We are either, we are element individuals. Anywhere where there's water, it's that soundtrack, it's that visual. For me, that is very calming. That is very inviting. It's relaxing. And when I'm spending quality time with you or my family or my friends, I really like, calming, quiet environments. But the bottom line is, sometimes we're not always in a quiet, calm environment. Sometimes we're in a loud restaurant or we're here or there. But you have to just learn to, to pretty much be a little diverse and flexible when because the quality time isn't just about you, it's
Right.
about your partner as well, and it has to
Mhm.
be equally pleasurable for both.
Yep, and we're going to get into that when we talk about the giver. But to answer the question, absolutely, we're both children of the water. We're from
Mhm.
Florida.
Yes.
She's an island girl, and
Mhm.
again, I've always loved water. But I will say this, and I promise I'm not trying to be all facetious or overly just corny. But I just enjoy spending time with you. Like whether it's oh, I really love our walks. Like
Yeah.
COVID has been really good for us from the standpoint of we started walking on a regular basis. And so it began to be our time where not only is it quality time for us, but it also was good exercising. So
Mhm.
we're losing weight, we're staying healthy, and then we're also connecting. We're having those heartfelt conversations. She's asking me questions, I'm asking her questions, and we really got a chance during these past 2 years to get to know each other all over again.
Yes.
And so for me, it's really been exercising because I'm doing something that physically benefits me, but I'm also doing it with someone that I love, and we're having good, meaningful conversation. And if you've ever worked out an exercise, you know that when you have a good conversation, you got some good music, you got a good show in front of you, then it helps to keep your mind off, and it doesn't make the exercise feel as rigorous.
Mhm.
When I was in ROTC in college, when we would run and do these 3 and 4 and 5 mile runs in the military, they have what's called cadence. And a cadence is where you're singing along and there's a person that's leading you through. And that is actually an intentional strategy to help you keep your mind off of the pain of the exercise and of the running. And so it's the same thing where for us, the quality time, the conversation has become really great for us as far as with being able to bond and get to know each other all
Yeah.
over again.
And that's interesting that you say that, as far as research supports that number one used to be words of affirmation and now it's quality time.
Mhm.
And then we got pushed into this pandemic, right?
Mhm.
And then we were forced to shut down. We were forced to be in close quarters and relationships suffered.
Yep.
And I think because, those that there were some relationships that were able to push in, right? And to get reacquainted, to reestablish their relationship. And this happens in marriage.
Mhm.
It happens in marriage. You go through these different life cycles. You have to stay and committed to doing the work, right? And then there were couples who, they had challenges with being in those close quarters and reconnecting in this way. And so sometimes that speaks to just us being out of practice.
Mm-hmm.
But we're never able to just say, oh, well, I know everything about him.
Mm-hmm.
He knows everything about me. We're good. No, you're evolving as individuals, and we constantly have to put that work through quality time. Quality time is like the way that we invest in getting to know each other.
And helping to reconnect and to get to know your partner all over again is exactly what we are about here at Couples Academy. So if you are having challenges with reconnecting in that way, we encourage you to definitely reach out to us so that we can assist you in that process. And with that, we are going to take a quick commercial break so that you can see some of the services that we have available here at the Couples Academy. You're tuned into Before I Do right here on the Couples Academy Network.
Welcome back to Before I Do, the show that is for you. If you are dating, you're engaged, you want to be married, or you're not even sure, you're in the right place, plugged into Before I Do. Tonight, we're talking about toxic expectations with a focus on quality time, the number one most popular love language there is to date. And we were asking, if you're a quality time person, what's your favorite location? What's your favorite place to spend time with your loved ones? And so we're coming out of that. And we definitely want to go in with talking about when quality time becomes toxic.
And we talked about it from the receiver side. Now let's shift over to the giver side.
All right. And so the giver, when quality time becomes toxic, 9 out of 10 times, it's one of these three things that could potentially be occurring. And the first is routinely breaking previously made plans. Uh-oh. Now, do you really want to be that person, right? You make plans and then you're the one to cancel. And you cancel and you cancel. And so that can be a challenge. One of the most efficient ways to hurt quality time persons, to hurt their feelings, is to plan to spend time together and then you bail at the last minute. Believe me, if you bail, it better be a serious reason, right? And so planning to spend time with someone, we really have to take that seriously. We want to be committed. To let that person know it's on my calendar. So whatever you have to do to discipline yourself, you want to make sure that occurs, because you don't want to be that person that continues to say, let's go, let's do it. And then always at the last minute you cancel. Eventually, people will stop believing you.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
They will start believing you because your behavior is telling them that you are not to be trusted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to exactly say that what it also does is it begins to carry over into that person associating that with your character. If I can't trust you to keep these appointments with me, then how can I trust you with certain information? How can I trust you with certain important tasks or things that I really need to be done? And so it is a reflection of your character when you routinely break the opportunity for quality time, because it not only shows that you are unreliable when it comes to showing up, but also it shows that you are unreliable when it comes to making yourself available for information, for things in general. So really important. So number two is when the term quality is only defined by you as the giver. Absolutely. So here's the deal, right? So the word quality is subjective. Okay. There are certain people that would say that, hey, there's a certain brand of car that they deem quality, and there's another brand of car that they would not deem quality. Okay. And then there's another person who would say, no, that brand of car is absolutely quality. So the word quality is subjective. In other words, it is based on the individual who is defining it. So as the giver, I do not get to define what exactly quality time consists of and look like, so that it is sufficient for you. That's why it's important that when it comes to quality time, that it is a shared practice, that your partner should be planning some of those activities. You as the partner should be planning some of those as well. And also too, it's important to also listen. So making sure that I'm hearing from you, what do you consider quality? Okay. Where are some of the things that what are some of the activities that you prefer? What are some of the places that, just as you mentioned with water, that you like to go? I know that when it comes to quality time with my wife, if I got the money for it, anything on the water, I'm already starting with house money. If the food is good, it's good. Now, even if the location as far as being on the water, okay, it's aesthetically, I'm winning. If the food is good, I'm great. I'm Gucci. Yeah. So I'm good. So, but how do I know that? I know that because of getting to know and listening to her, and then incorporating that into the planning that I make for our activities and for our time together. And we also must resist the urge to become cheap and predictable. Just because I don't have to spend a lot of money or get her the latest and the greatest and the best for us to have a good time together doesn't mean that I shouldn't set aside some time for us to go out and do some things and spend a little bit of money, break some bread in order to spoil my wife. It doesn't take that, but she knows that I also am not, I'm not hesitant to hold back on doing those things, but making sure that I'm keeping her interested and really in the flexible of not knowing what to expect when it comes to us spending quality time when I plan it.
Got it. And so one thing I've learned, first of all, our first date was we went to the beach. And so water was a part of even our first date, the aesthetics of it, and us just really talking, and that has been kind of consistent in our relationship. So, you will know what your thing is. You will know that happy place when you want to spend time with someone, what is the best environment. And so helping couples find those sacred environments, spots, moments, and how to safeguard that in your relationship. Because when we got married and children came along, let me tell you, the boundaries, like, yeah, they'll know this room is not for you. Do not come in here. This is the sex and intimacy department, or it's after 8 o'clock. Go to bed. Do not, this is our time. So it's really important for you to safeguard your relationship in that way. Quality time becomes toxic on the quality time. Take two. Quality time becomes toxic on the giver side. Number 3, when we're not practicing active listening. Whoa. And so it is very much important, just as much important as for us ladies to make sure that we are listening to our husbands, our spouses, right? Sometimes people feel like, well, it's all about him wooing me. Well, no, we have to make sure that we're wooing and romancing our husbands as well. And so when we talk about listening, there's times that, hey, I'm not into necessarily, all the sports, but he'll sit up there and he'll watch, he swears football games are not 4 hours, but I swear to you they are. Okay. So me not knowing anything about football, when we got together, like, I would just sit there and I would just watch the game, even though I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we win it. I just scream when he screams, like, but it's, and even with that, he's watching the game, but sometimes it's about the fellowship for him.
Exactly.
So I had to understand that he doesn't care that I don't really know about the football game, but it's just about me sitting there with him. It's about getting excited about, we're foodies. So yeah, it's getting excited about the snacks and that's just kind of hanging out. So
absolutely. So when we talk about active listening, right? Active listening is a term that was first coined by Carl Rogers and Richard Faison back in 1957. And it involves the practice of preparing to listen, observing verbal and nonverbal messages, and providing feedback for the sake of showing attentiveness to the message that is being communicated. So what this means is that as the giver, you are expected to be an active participant in quality time. So that's not just being a sounding board, but that is actually paying attention. What I like to say is you are listening with your eyes and you are looking with your ears. And what that means is that that my ears are open because my eyes are on you. And you ever heard somebody like really listen to them tell a story, and when they're telling the story, you can see it? That is looking with your ears. So when you are really actively listening, you are able to look with your ears and you're able to listen with your eyes.
So very, very deep there, right?
I mean, sometimes I go to
and really helping to give each other that understanding piece.
Absolutely.
I think that's really powerful. Really studying your partner, right? And really having an understanding of who they are and their why, right? And so I learned, me watching the football game, he wasn't trying to indoctrinate me for me to love football, right? But to me, I know he loves it. It's a game that he loves. And so me just taking the time to learn the game, understand the game, spend time with him, that was powerful for him. And so we would talk between the games, and so now I actually am a fan, and so because I understand, and so having that mutual understanding, I understand now why he loves the game. And so when that happens, I'm not jealous when he's sitting down and he's watching football on Sundays or whenever it comes on TV, because I understand, man, that's, I understand the quality of the game and why he enjoys it. And so it's very easy to be like, okay, I'm jealous. He's been down there all day watching football, and where's my time? Where's my attention? No, go learn, engage, try to understand the passion behind the item.
And that actually goes right into our safeguards, our safety measures when it comes to helping to prevent quality time from becoming toxic. Number 1, communicate and commune. That means that, again, having conversations with your spouse about the things that they are interested in, being able to take inventory, remembering those things, and then communing. Communion is that fellowship. It is not just spending time together, but it is being intentional. It is being purposeful. It is a giving and a receiving. It is you're telling me things, I'm telling you things, you're learning things about me, I'm learning things about you. So there is a mutual benefit in our fellowship. So that is that communing that we're talking about. And again, for both the giver and the receiver, if your quality time is constantly ending in arguments, you really need to adjust how you're doing quality time. If your quality time is ending with both of you walking away feeling refreshed, feeling fulfilled, feeling like you're able to see your partner in new eyes, then that's a telltale sign that you are really maximizing your quality time in the right way.
And the key word was communicate and commune. Both of those really have that prefix there, right? It's common, right?
Common.
It's community, right? It's a lot of things we use with that prefix there, but all of those things require this recipe, the secret sauce. It's listening, it's learning, and it's loving, right? And that goes back to how can you listen to someone if you're not quiet, if you're not paying attention. And Walter mentioned it about, with the ears and the eyes, and making sure that we're using those two things as instruments to really go deeper in our understanding. So it's really a powerful thing. How can I learn something new about my partner today? That's the question I operate in. If I want to be a better listener, how can I learn something new about my partner today? How can I love my partner deeper today? And then, what is something I learned that I don't know about them?
And the last one is take turns planning dates. Don't just let if you're quality time, if quality time is your love language, don't just leave your partner out there as the one that's having to plan all of the quality time activities. You as the primary love language, allow it to be an opportunity for him or them to learn what you enjoy, because again, it is supposed to be a mutual benefit as well. So take turns and setting aside time. Women's Health Magazine says that setting aside time to actively date your partner is key, but trouble strikes when only one person does all the heavy lifting. It is hard work to constantly plan things for your spouse and feel like you're constantly under scrutiny and constantly being judged if things don't go right. So, put yourself in your partner's shoes and make sure that you're being an active participant in planning the quality time for both you and your partner.
Absolutely. And you'll believe me, you will respect the one who has planned the dates when you are actively in the game.
That's right.
I definitely encourage that.
Hey, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to Before I Do. We have really enjoyed covering when love languages turn toxic. We only have one more love language left, so be sure to tune in same time next week.
Wait a minute, are we going to tell them what it is?
No, I mean, they'll see it, but we haven't been telling them, so it ain't but one left. It's my number. It's my number one. So, it's my number one. I don't mind telling it, and I don't mind sharing it.
All right, well, we'll give y'all just a little something.
Just
it involves all of this.
Go ahead on. The show ain't over yet, but it's about to be. Hey, so listen, we have another, again, Before I Do, coming up next week, same time. Be sure to share with all of your friends who may be dating, thinking about getting married, don't know if they want to get married or single. Tell them about Before I Do and make sure that they tune in. If you are in a relationship and you are interested in getting better information about yourself or getting closer connected with your spouse, be sure to check us out at Couples Academy. And also wanted to let you all know that this month we are starting Speak Now Q&A night. That's right. So every last Wednesday of the month, starting this month, we are going to be taking your questions.
Yes.
And we are going to ask you to send them in advance. Text your question to 678-200-8996, and we will be reading them and answering your questions live on the air on the last Wednesday of this month. So be sure to tune in. On behalf of Couples Academy, my name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
You've been tuned in to Before I Do. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Good night, everybody.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, Share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.